Hey, I'm Frybread, and today I want to take you on a little tour of my small piece of heaven. So sit back and enjoy me talking about games. Okay, so first thing I wanted to do is I just wanted to show you what exactly you see when you walk in here. I know it's not much, I know it's not a big space, but I've crammed a lot of stuff in here. There's a lot of good things to talk about today. To start off, here is the PSP shelf. I am going to highlight a couple of games here after this clip, but we're coming down to my NES collection next to my DS and my music CDs, followed by PS3, and then some strategy guides and RPG books. First game we're talking about is Patapon. This is a funny little rhythm action game that can be quite challenging if you're anything like me and like basic rhythm. Next up is Sonic Rivals. I always look for an opportunity to talk about an obscure Sonic game. For what it is on the PSP, it's a pretty good time. I know it's not the best. I know Sonic doesn't have a great track record, but I'm having a good time with it. I really enjoy it. Okay, next up is the God of War games on the PSP. I wanted to highlight these both because it's a funny story. I actually found Chains of Olympus in a game store about 4 hours from where I live, so it was kind of like way off the beaten path for me. But I found it complete in box, manual and everything, and on the way home I actually had Ghost of Sparta pulled up on like eBay. I had an eBay listing I was looking at. I was almost bought it, but I decided to wait, and I'm glad I did, because the next day I hit up my local game store and found Ghost of Sparta complete manual. I just thought it was very funny that they happen to be so close to each other. Now I want to check out some PS3 games. Here we have the Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection. I actually got this one new on Amazon last year. I haven't got around to playing any of the games on it, but hopefully someday in the future. Uncharted 2 was the definitive Uncharted experience, in my opinion, on the PS3. I remember playing this for the first time on Christmas when I got it, and I just fell in love with the entire series. Now, MotorStorm is, I believe, a launch title. If it's not a launch title, it's a very, very early release for the PS3. I remember playing this at a friend's house, and the vehicle physics just felt really nice. It felt just the right amount of floaty. I don't know how to explain it. And now we move on to the tallest shelf in the game room. Right here we have the Xbox One, Dreamcast, and PS4. Moving down after that is the original Xbox collection. I love collecting for the original Xbox. It's probably the biggest piece of my collection. I'm not sure how many I have. I'll have to double check, but PS1, more Dreamcast, GameCube, and followed up with PlayStation 2. Now on to some games I wanted to highlight in my original Xbox collection. Here we have Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, a very, very fun park builder. This game walked so Jurassic World Evolution could run. And now the reason I got an Xbox in the first place, I'm sure a lot of people have a story like this, but Halo 2 was the definitive original Xbox experience. I didn't get to play online back then. I didn't have high-speed internet, but I just remember playing through the campaign over and over and having friends over playing split screen for hours. I remember this is the game I played my first LAN party. A couple Xboxes just directly linked to each other, playing multiplayer all night. A load of fun, still fun today. Okay, and now another one I want to highlight is Shenmue 2. I have some Dreamcast games I'm going to highlight, spoiler alert, but the first game is among one of them, and they released a sequel only in Europe on the Dreamcast. We in the US, we got Shenmue 2 on the original Xbox. It was an original Xbox exclusive, and I just think it's unique because it included a DVD of events that happened in the first game to get you caught up. Really cool. And moving on to the Dreamcast, of course, we have the first Sonic Adventure. This is the Dreamcast game. This is the game I think about when I think of the Dreamcast. The blue skies, white sand, the water effect. This is so intrinsically tied to the Dreamcast that I can't think of one without the other. I just love this game. And now I want to look at a game that I got addicted to very recently. It got to where anytime I had free time, I was off work, I was planting my butt in front of the TV, had the Dreamcast fired up, and was playing Hydro Thunder. I wanted to master the tracks. I wanted to get the best times. But I just love this game. I remember studying like the mechanics, how to do the start boost, how to do the hydro jump effectively, finding all the shortcuts. Man, I just binged this game, and I don't know why. I don't know what it is about it, but it's a really fun racer. My wife and I actually found a cabinet while we were on vacation, and we played I don't know how many games on that thing. I just love this game. And now moving on to the first Shenmue. If you have a Dreamcast, you owe it to yourself to track down a copy of this game and play it. It is just a wonderful experience, almost unlike any other. It's pseudo open world. It's kind of like a life sim. They just rolled a bunch of things into one, and it's just an amazing game. You should play it. Moving on to the GameCube, we have Sonic Mega Collection. Now this is just a compilation of Sonic's earlier games for the GameCube, but I remember playing this to death. I loved everything about it. And now a little bit of an expensive one here, Pokemon Coliseum. I haven't got around to playing this one yet, but I've been obsessed with Gen 3, so I might fire this up sometime in the future. And now Animal Crossing. I think Animal Crossing needs no introduction. I remember renting this back in the day, but I didn't really understand what to do with it. I remember Rover on the train and entering my name and then getting into town, but like after that I was just lost. I was like, I'm not sure what my objective is. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing. I just didn't really understand the concept back then. But now, dude, I love Animal Crossing. I can spend hours playing Animal Crossing right now. But this is my town that I haven't touched in quite some time. I'm thinking about doing a series. I really want to play some Animal Crossing again. Moving along to the PS1, this one holds a very special nostalgic place in my heart. This is actually the first PS1 game I ever saw, and I linked the console and this game together, kind of similar how Sonic and the Dreamcast went. And now this is actually a thrift store find. I remember poking around through a literal hole-in-the-wall thrift store. It was in some company's basement, no lights except from the front door, and I find this game almost pristine, excellent condition, just sitting at the front desk. And now moving on to the PS2, I absolutely fell in love with this game when I first played it. This was my Super Mario 64. I love Tack and the Power Juju. Awesome platformer on the system. You need to try it if you haven't. And now moving on to Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2. This is another one that I got addicted to there for a while. I would come home immediately from work and just play round after round of Budokai 2. Love it. And now moving on to the third shelf of the game room. Here is where I keep my Xbox 360 games. I've got some that I want to look at that aren't backwards compatible. Moving down to my N64. My paltry little Wii and Switch collection, followed by some PC releases and some strategy guides. The first of the 360 games I want to take a look at is Turok, the 2008 remake. And this to me was a very fun shooter. I love anything with dinosaurs in it, so I might be biased, but check this one out if you're able to do so. And now Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. The Spider-Man games on 360 are getting pretty collectible. They're getting expensive. This one is very unique because you play as 4 different versions of Spider-Man. Really fun, check it out. And now my favorite Halo game, Halo 3 ODST. I remember playing Firefight with my buddies constantly in this game. I've played through the campaign more times than I could probably count. I absolutely love and adore this game. And now I want to highlight some rare games that I have for the N64. Here we have Conker's Bad Fur Day, a very fun, raunchy platformer. If you can get your hands on it, I'd recommend it. You see what I did there? Another rare game I have for the N64 is Donkey Kong 64. This is known as the Collectathon Monster, and it lives up to the name, but it is still a very fun platformer. And the last rare game that I have on the N64, of course, is GoldenEye 007, the grandfather of the console shooter. What else is there to say? I mean, very fun multiplayer game. If you can get 3 other friends, it is a guaranteed good time, especially with the cheat codes. I remember the paintball code, the DK mode, which I remember makes everybody have like gorilla proportions, if I'm remembering that right. They have like gangly arms and big heads. But yeah, this is, I mean, it shows its age, but it's still a very fun time. And now I want to highlight some more things in the game room. Here is my Atari, Sega, and Super Nintendo shelf. Moving down to my Dreamcast, and I have my Wii and original Xbox, a PS3, but that is not for PS3 games, it's actually for PS1 games, my GameCube, and my sound system. Now moving on to my Jurassic Park shelf. I'm a huge Jurassic Park fan. Moving down to my Switch, I have some Pokemon amiibos. Down to my PSP and my PS2, and last but not least, my Sega Saturn and Xbox One with my sad other PS3 tucked underneath. Here is my Halo shelf. I have the collector's edition of Reach. I have the special Halo 4 edition Xbox 360, some Mega Bloks models, and Halo 5 special edition. Yeah, I'm so much of a Halo shield that I have Halo 5 special edition. Moving on to my Sonic shelf. My wife actually hand painted that controller for me for my birthday one year, and I love that thing. Here's my arcade stick and my Sega Nomad, and a Sega Model 1 with an Altered Beast pop figure. And that's it for the game room. I highlighted some games that mean a lot to me. It's making me want to go back and play them, so maybe I can do that in the future. But if you made it this far in the video, I just want to thank you for sticking around to the end and watching it. This meant a lot to me. This is the first video I've made in a long time. There were some growing pains and there was some rust that I still need to knock off. But if you want to subscribe and give the video a like, I would really appreciate it. Thank you again for sticking around this long. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.